Hi and welcome. It's Alex again from Future Funding, your funding specialist. And it's great to have your company again with yet another business hero in our Business Hero series. My special guest today is a recognised leader in several industries and a national award winner and renowned for helping struggling businesses with his proven yet effective strategies, helping them get the results they want. Dan Buzer, thanks so much for joining us.
Alex Salty, it's a pleasure. How are you?
Always a pleasure. Dan, you've got a lot of people who may not know you. You've been working on a program for the last 20 years known as Profit Mechanics, which is a very exciting concept. I know we've spoken greatly about a lot of things as far as my business goes, and there's a lot of excitement with your members group, which is really cool as well to be part of. Dan, tell us a little bit about Profit Mechanics, and also we start with just a little bit of an intro of your history and where it all started for yourself.
Not to talk too much about me because it's the most boring subject in the world. Basically, I grew up in family business and it sucked. My dad was terrible at it. He'd work 100 hours or more a week. Turned to me one day when I was washing dishes in one of his restaurants and he said, "Work hard, son. One day all this will be yours." So I left home and I was lucky enough to get a job with a guy called Cyril Maloney, who owns the Bondi Beach Hotel and about 30 other businesses. He's on the BRW Rich List, worth about 350 million. And the thing I noticed about Mr. Maloney was he didn't work. He just managed businesses really well and looked after people. He was a total gentleman. And I just took that as my new business role model. And then I got into the franchising industry, worked with a family, learned about systems, and then started taking over my own businesses, fixing them up and reselling them. People started asking me to help them. And bang, I'm in this world of helping people to fix their businesses up, and ultimately is to help people be in control of their businesses rather than their businesses be in control of them. So that's ultimately what we do. And, it takes a bit of emotional fortitude for people to let go and to learn to trust other people and things like that. And that's what myself and our 200 plus licensees help their clients to do. And yeah, we've been doing that now. I started this journey 20 years ago. About 13 years ago, my business partner, Keith Banfield, came on board and we redid all of our stuff and combined his information with my information and experiences. And now we've got quite a large library that we guide people through with templates and things to get control of their business. So that's what we do.
And how would you, so as far as your, You mentioned their franchising. Was that something that just happened by accident, or was that you just fell into franchising against businesses? Was that a preferred?
Yeah, I was introduced to a family business who owned 4 video stores, and but I knew that they were planning to build a fairly large business, and they were a bit of a dream team. So the head of the family, Len Whitaker, was the CEO and like the controller sort of guy. And then his sons, one was really good at marketing and promotions. Another one was an accountant, very good at numbers. They had an operations manager who was incredible, who taught me a lot about operations and opening stores and fixing stores up and hiring people and things like that. And they grew they actually used to manage shopping centers. And they had a few vacant spots in these shopping centers and decided to put some video stores in. Before they knew it, they had 4. And then they started realizing that there was a lot of stores out there that weren't performing to their potential. And they started acquiring these stores. And they went from 4 stores to over 40 stores in about 7 years. Wow. And the thing is, they followed a process for each of those stores, which I call loose tight. So they had this tight process of working out what the numbers were, what the numbers should be for that demographic, psychographic, geographic, things like that. They had a system that they could fit each of those units, those stores, into that system and vice versa. So it was loose tight. And I fell in love with that idea. And I've been working with those systems and adding to those systems with different businesses and things like that. And now that's why it's quite easy for us to put a stencil over a business and be able to see where it's at, where it wants to get to, and the fastest way to get there. Yeah. So that's how I got into the franchise industry. And then
Yeah.
I started taking over a few of my own friends. I actually got given franchise stores that weren't performing. And that was good fun. But then I got sick of signing leases and hiring my own staff. So we went into the licensing model.
Yeah. So it's interesting when you sort of talk franchising, and I know some viewers will be probably in a position themselves, and we're going to encourage people to jump on your Profit Mechanics members group page because there's so much good information on that. But if someone was in a business themselves and they were always thinking about, is my business scalable on a franchise model? Is that something that they can talk to you about as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just got to be genuinely replicatable. As long as you have a few actual franchisees, and we call it buddies. So if you can find a friend or a buddy, and if you trust your opportunity enough to bring your friend into it and to guide them through that process and to eliminate the risk and all that sort of thing, if you are comfortable doing that with a good friend or even a family member, then, and it works, then you've got something that your heart will be in, and you will really push and make happen, because you know it's the real deal. They're the successful franchises, the ones that the franchisor really believes in. Where I see franchises fall down is they get successful and they get to multiple stores and things like that. Then they get acquired by a franchisor who collects franchises and things, and then the heart falls out of it.
Passion's gone.
And all, exactly. And it takes, and I can name 5 businesses off the top of my head that this happened to in the last 5 years, large businesses. And I've spoken to the franchisees, and I know who the franchisors are. I know who those people are. I know their history and things like that. And every time the cause is the heart falls out of it. So the key is just make sure, if you are thinking about franchising, and I've helped several clients to franchise their businesses, just make sure that your heart is really in it, that you're passionate about it. And that's the number one key thing.
Number one principle really for having your own business, isn't it? You've got to have that passion constantly to do the day-to-day, tasks.
One of my favorite sayings is, do something so well, do something that you love doing for free, and eventually you'll do it so well you get paid for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's absolutely true. I mean, I've probably had 20, 25 different jobs, career opportunities and things like that. And I've fallen into this, and I do it every day without even thinking about it because I love it.
Yeah.
That's so what people are looking at.
Sorry. So basically, and that's, so, I mean, all these business owners we talk to, and I'm coming across so many on a daily basis, and I love, that's the whole part of our series, just getting to know the people behind these businesses. And it's interesting you say that, because it seems to be the common trend when the businesses that are doing well and they're so keen, the passion is just there. It's behind it. They get up every morning. They don't know what day of the week it is. They just get in there and love it. You know what I mean?
They hate sleep.
Yeah, that's right. So one of the great things is, and what's exciting to be able to have our guests that watch these series, is having all of these facilities and tools available, because there's a lot of people that may go, I've never heard of Profit Mechanics. And once they start diving into it and going, how can this help my business? Because every business is unique, but the same principles, and as we've had many discussions, the same principles of what you teach seems to be repeated over and over again. Can you give us a bit of just a snapshot or a good background of what the Profit Mechanics will do if I'm sitting here as a business owner thinking, is there something that I can be doing? What am I missing out on? How can Profit Mechanics help me as a business?
So 4 steps. Number 1, cash flow forecast. If you can't show your numbers to somebody else, you don't know your own numbers. And that can include a 12-year-old. You should be able to show your income and expenses and profit for last month, this current month, and the next couple of months. Excel spreadsheet takes about 20 minutes. Anyone can do it. Step number 1. My most successful clients I work with, some of which have $5 million plus businesses, go through their cash flow forecast and P&L every week. That's why they're worth good money.
Yeah.
Step number 2, database. All of your past clients, your current clients, your prospective clients. Having a way that you can see those simply. If you use a CRM or something like that, that's great, but you should be able to tell me how many past clients you've had, current clients you have, and prospective clients you've got in your sites. So if you don't have a system that shows us that, then you don't know where you're at. Thirdly, marketing that actually works in quality and quantity. So the right number of the right people for your business that your business is designed to serve. And step number 4 is leverage. That's where you come into people, technology, the team around you, including your accountant, your bookkeeper, your HR people, your mentors, your employees, your landlord, everyone, franchisor, everyone around you is your leverage. So those 4 things. So in terms of profit mechanics, we cover those 4 things in 30 minutes over the phone, over Zoom, and we have a very clear way of giving the business owner an idea of whereabouts they're at in each of those areas. And usually they'll score themselves something like a 2 or 3 out of 10. And at the end of that call, at least they are now consciously incompetent and they've got an idea of what they don't know. And if they're interested in becoming consciously competent, then we can work with them and go from there. And after a while, when you get the systems in place and the right people in place and you're getting good at it, you become unconsciously competent at all those things, or your business becomes unconsciously competent. One of the things that people realize in working with us is the person that we're working with is not the client. The business is the client. And client comes from the Latin root to protect. That's why lawyers call their clients clients. So it's our role to help protect the business from the business owner. So, because the idea is if the business owner gets hit by a bus, the business should be able to keep on running. That's the way that we're always looking at it. And when I'm running leadership meetings with my clients, we might have 4 or 5 people who run their own department in that business. What's going through my mind is, if this person gets hit by a bus, how is that area going to run? So we look for somebody else to replace them just in case. And if we don't have to replace them, that's great. We grow the business so that it accommodates 2 of those awesome people. Yeah. But we're always thinking, you know, if this person gets hit by a bus, how can the business keep on running? How will it affect the business? You know, and I mean, these things are all in, you know, the famous books like E-Myth and Think and Grow Rich and all that sort of stuff. And they're really good philosophies, but actually applying it, they don't give you the tools to actually apply it. It's very different to, you know, read a story about it and a parable about it, and that's great. But to actually have a tool to guide you through the process so that you can actually see it is very different.
Yeah. And is it specifically for a particular type of business or business thing, or is profit mechanics a really good overview of anyone in business?
It's for any business that has cash flow, a database, marketing, and needs to be leveraged.
You've put the boxes there.
So I'll give you an example. I worked with a family business. Dad owned it and was out in the field doing sales. They were selling products for landscape suppliers. The daughter was in the office running the office. The daughter's best friend was the bookkeeper. The owner's son was out manufacturing the product, and the son-in-law was out there doing deliveries. Like, it was a real family business, right? Yeah. 12 of them, and they were doing fairly well. And they thought to grow, they had to do like the big businesses did and spend money on marketing and that sort of stuff. So they were spending something like $330,000 a year on marketing.
Wow.
So we came in there and did our simple process and asked them some questions about, you know, how that marketing was working, how they measured it and things like that. And we eliminated things that weren't obviously working bit by bit. We eventually got it down to $20,000 a year that I was spending in that same period of time. So over 10 months, we reduced their spending on marketing from $330,000 to $20,000. In that same 10 months, they grew from 12 employees to 38 employees.
That's incredible.
Just by measuring. So what we measure, we manage. What we manage improves. We just gave them some simple ways of measuring what was working or what wasn't. And then they made their own decisions as to what they wanted to keep doing and stop doing.
Yeah.
So that's just one of so many stories. I've got a client at the moment. We've just gone through this really interesting time last year, and they've gone from 21 employees to 30 employees, and we're still looking for 2 or 3 more. They can hardly keep up with the work, and it's just because they have been they're very good at measuring what they do and being clear on who their target market are. And, they're thriving in this time that a lot of their competitors are finding it really hard. It just comes down to being able to manage it and having someone to guide you through that process so you can focus on what to do, on actually doing what you need to do, not working out what you need to do.
Yeah, yeah. And it doesn't, so for example, if I'm in business for myself, and there might be people out there that are in business and they're at this time where we've just, like you said, we've just gone through a really, really difficult 12 months. Does implementing profit mechanics, does it put a change in what you have to do? So does it affect what we're currently doing at this point where you're looking at the measuring side of things to get, to look at results? How does profit mechanics fit into a day-to-day business that is a busy business?
Yeah, so you're basically just doing different things. I mean, at the moment, everybody's doing something. We just get people to take a step back and do things a little bit different. They tend to be leveraged. We also, the reason why we're talking today is because you're a part of our concierge desk. Yeah. So half of business is who you know. It's your team, getting help from people who actually deliver what they say they can do. So we help people to measure where they're at, where they want to get to, the gap in between, all that sort of stuff. And have you heard of this system, this process? This has worked for this person. This has worked for that person, all that sort of thing. That's all good. But then it's like, okay, so who do I speak to review my finance to make sure that I am paying the right amount? Let me send you the details to Alex, or jump onto the Profit Mechanics members group, look up Alex or finance help. And Alex will give you a call, let them know that you found him through Profit Mechanics, and Alex will know that you're serious about business, that you're a part of this community that are serious about business, so you'll get his full attention. So that's essentially what we do. We really help things to speed up. Like that business I was telling you before went from 12 employees to 38 employees in 10 months. They weren't planning to do that. It just happened. They just, and thinking about it now, I remember they didn't have a HR person. So I introduced them to a HR person. Their bookkeeper was new and green. So I introduced them to an experienced bookkeeper to get some tips from and to help make things easier. Recruitment, going from 12 to 38 people, they need some help with recruitment and making sure these people are doing the right thing. Sales, conversion, measuring conversion, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So all of that comes from the two sides of the coin. One being clear on where you're at, where you want to get to, fastest way to get there. And then the other side is who can help me to make it happen.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And I know it's so good to be able to, and I really appreciate you taking the time out to go through and have a chat with us. Obviously, you are one of our business heroes, and I know a lot of people are going to get a lot out of it, particularly with the connections you can also introduce them to if that's so needed. So we are going to have a link of the Profit Mechanic members Facebook group where people can click on and become part of that and then connect with you. And if they want to take that step further, I know they're going to get so much out of Profit Mechanics. It's absolutely brilliant program. Dan,
I'll just let you know, part of that process as well is this group. There's only like a couple hundred people in this group. This isn't build it to a 10,000 person group or something deal. Everyone in this group, I know something about them. I've spoken to them, all that sort of thing. So if you do become a member of this group, we will be having a chat of some sort so that I can learn more about you and you can learn more about us. So just giving you a heads up, we will have a chat.
We will have a chat. And I can tell you from firsthand, it is brilliant. I mean, we've got to know now each other over the last couple of years, Dan, and you've been just such a valuable part of our business, and we've grown a really good friendship. And also the people that you've introduced me to, there've been some brilliant connections there, and the collaboration between all of these groups is phenomenal. And I'm a big fan of Profit Mechanics and absolutely love being part of the group.
It's a team sport and we love being part of the team. It's great.
Absolutely. And finally, on that big note of one of our heroes, Dan, one of the biggest questions I love asking all our guests is if you're a superhero, who would it be and why?
If I was a superhero, who would it be and why? Okay. I'm crossed between Superman, who was the ultimate superhero, so the original, and it's a weird one, but Ripley from Aliens, played by Sigourney Weaver.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because she's I don't know if she had superpowers, but I just love how she just went in there and cleaned up the mess and was just committed, and she didn't really know what she was doing, but she just went nuts. And and she kept coming back for five remakes or something. So Superman's an obvious one. Other people have probably chosen that. But I think Ripley from Aliens was pretty cool.
I love it. Never die attitude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I actually named one of my Great Danes after her, called Ripley. So I had Rambo, Spartan, and Ripley was the female, and she was a total bitch.
That was it. Hands down. Dan, thank you so much, and really, really appreciate your time. And if there's anybody that's been following our series and a small business or business that you'd love to have as part of our Business Hero series, highly welcome and love everyone's feedback as well. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, mate.